Coming up on Theater Talk.
Let's talk about the front page for a moment. It's about the newspaper business. So it's entirely possible that many people...
Talk about dated.
Many people going to see the front page will have no idea what a newspaper is.
Yeah, when they call out "Get me rewrites," it's like no one's going to answer.
Theater Talk is made possible in part by the CUNY TV Foundation. From New York City, this is Theater Talk. I'm Susan Haskins.
And I'm Michael Riedel of the New York Post.
Michael, we are beginning our 20th year on PBS in New York, and now, of course, we are across the USA. So,
very exciting news.
Very exciting news.
Where's the cake?
Oh, forgot it. Please introduce our kid.
All right, so we've got a brand new theater season coming up. The shows include Les Liaisons Dangereuses, Falsettos, Cats, Miss Saigon. Welcome to Theater Talk 1991. Here we are, and here to discuss all these exciting new shows, Patrick Pacheco from artinfo.com. Michael Musto from The Village Voice.
I'm back.
Yay.
He's back. He's got a hair.
And I've got bras on my glasses.
Got a fabulous piece in The Voice about hanging out backstage with Madonna before she was famous.
She was pre-Madonna.
She was pre-Madonna. And Jesse Green from New York Magazine. Welcome to Theater Talk. All right, Patrick.
Yes.
Falsettos, Cats, Les Liaisons Dangereuses, Miss Saigon. I mean, do they do anything new on Broadway anymore, or are we going to live in revival land for the rest of our truncated careers?
Well, you're going to see before the end of the season probably about 10 new musicals open up. But obviously, these have the money, these have the financing, and they think they can recoup on them. They could certainly do it with something like The Front Page, which has an all-star cast with Nathan Lane and John Slattery and John Goodman.
Rose, Sherry Renee Scott.
I think that's a slam dunk in terms of its commercial appeal. Something like Falsetto is going to be interesting to see how it compares in terms of the climate that it opened in 1992.
Right.
Won a number of Tony Awards.
When people were dying of AIDS.
When people were dying of AIDS, and that climate, and this long before gay marriage was obviously a reality, and now coming back.
And it is a beautiful snapshot of that period.
Do you think it'll be dated though, or?
Well, dated in the way that an old show is dated, but you're looking to an old show to bring back the memory of that era, and it's about a guy, his lover, the kid, the shrink, and the ex-wife.
Right, and the guy dying of AIDS.
But I'm actually excited about some of the new musicals coming. Natasha, Pierre The Great Comet.
That was off-Broadway, we saw that.
Is a musical of War and Peace, basically, or a section of it. The first time I saw it, it came with dinner. Second time was hors d'oeuvres. Now
it becomes
pumpkins. But you get Josh Groban.
You get vodka.
Well, but I sort of am, I know they've done it because Josh Groban is a star, but I'm sorry that they're losing Dave Malloy, who not only wrote the musical but played Pierre, and seems far more appropriate for the role than
Dave
Josh
Malloy
Groban.
sells 0 tickets. 0.
I understand that.
That's how it works on Broadway, Susan.
If you
don't get the dinner, you have to have a star.
That's it. Jesse, let's talk about the front page for a moment, because it's a very funny play. We don't have many comedies on Broadway anymore. It's got a $9 million advance, and it's about the newspaper business. So it's entirely possible that many people...
Talk about dated.
Many people going to see the front page will have no idea what a newspaper is.
Yeah, when they call out "Get me rewrites," it's like no one's going to answer. It's a play about
Stop the presses.
I think it's going to start with Nathan Lane telling the audience, first let me tell you what a comedy is. Then let me explain what a newspaper was.
But it's a great American comedy.
Yes, and it feeds into a nostalgia that we are all currently feeling for our jobs, and it's considered one of the best crafted American comedies of all time.
But the irony is, it's a comedy about the newspaper business, but there are no critics left at newspapers to review it, so it's going to open up and be reviewed by your magazine, and that's pretty much it, I think.
I think the New York Times still has some reviewers.
Yeah.
Patrick,
yes.
Les Liaisons Dangereuses. I worked as a little kid on the original production by Chris Hampton.
It's based on you.
With Alan Rickman, who was great,
right.
Lindsay Duncan. Liev Schreiber, I think, is one of the great American stage actors. He should
Arguably.
smolder in this, don't you think?
Yeah, arguably one of the great American actors, stage actors, absolutely. And of course, he's gotten currency in film and television now, and I think he'll bring that in terms of the box office to this play. It's done a lot. I think this is maybe the third production in the last 20 or 30 years, at least.
It's the third Broadway production.
Yeah, and it's just one of those plays that actors want to be in and directors want to.
And this time, Janet McTeer is playing the female role.
All right.
Yeah.
She was the male Petruchio in Taming of the Shrew.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I love a play about rich, jaded aristocrats destroying lives. I think it's fun. Of course, the movie with Glenn Close and John Malkovich was a classic.
About
The revival with
they were
Laura
actually
Linney
two.
wasn't so hot, the last one.
No.
It's interesting now, we had Christopher Hampton on, and he said that the play changes with the era. And he said, you know, back when it first opened, the kind of debauched sex that they're doing was during the AIDS epidemic. He said, now it's about the 1%.
Yeah.
It's about how the 1% behave in debauched ways.
Yeah.
Well, a playwright, has a motive in saying that his play is new in every new era because he wants to have it produced. But, the revivals that you were bemoaning, and rightly so in some cases. There's also, did you mention the Cherry Orchard? I mean, that's 1904. Please, we've not gotten beyond that. But it's a symptom of the fall. As I think you said, there are a lot of new things happening on Broadway, but they're almost all in the spring. It's become a strangely bifurcated season. So you get all the revivals up front, all the new stuff in the spring.
The new stuff, because they open in the spring hoping to grab the Tony Awards.
Right.
Because they don't have the built-in names that the revivals presumably do.
And
But
speaking
there's
of
two-
Cherry Orchard, Stephen Karam, who wrote The Humans, the best play
Yes.
Tony winner, has adapted it, and it's updated. People are already buzzing. There are lines like lipstick on a pig and things that were not in the original text.
It was
makes
lipstick
sense.
on a wild boar in the original text.
Exactly.
One thing I'm interested in, a couple of the new musicals, Dear Evan Hansen, Patrick,
Uh-huh.
got very good reviews off Broadway.
And it's excellent.
Ben Platt, people thought
Right.
he was a shoo-in for the Tony Award, but we have Groundhog Day coming now from London, which got rave reviews, and everyone's saying how good Andy Carl is. So do we have a really intense Tony race shaping up here between Ben Platt and Andy Carl?
And you probably will get even more other performances that will make it even more of a race. So you never know what's going to open. This is
Well,
pretty
Christian
earlier in the
Borle,
season.
Christian Borle has 2 shows.
Yeah, exactly. So,
And 2 Tonys.
and who knows what's going to happen between that? But he's excellent in this, and it's a very good musical. I saw it at Second Stage when it was off Broadway.
What's it about, Michael? Dear Evan Hansen, did you see it?
I love a suicide musical.
Teen suicide musical, right?
I didn't see it, actually, so maybe Patrick can
Yeah, what's it
explain.
about?
Well, it's actually about a young man who is something of a nerd who writes letters to himself at the behest of his psychiatrist and his single mother. And it's just this letter that he writes to himself is discovered on the body of this suicide that opens the musical. And it's taken.
Your descriptions. The musical opens
Here's what
a
it's
dead
about.
body and a note on it. Oh my
It's a
Jesse,
feel-good
help.
musical about connecting. That's all we need to say.
Not since Kelly.
My
It's
God,
very cleverly plotted.
There are 80 million producers of this. They're all watching, and your description is making them.
Well, they're not
open the
80 million
window.
anymore.
I mean, suicide, exactly.
No, but
Who's going to go see a
But it's
suicide
not a
musical?
named actor, so it's okay.
No, it's not about the
It's a
suicide.
beautiful show. It's very well done, and it's not as grim as that sounds, although that's completely accurate. But I think I won't go. All right. No, I loved it off Broadway. Yeah.
Michael, what do you make of this the 9/11 musical? Hello from away. No,
Come from away.
Come from away.
Not to be confused with Come Fly Away, which was
Or
the
Oh,
Kelly Clark
Hello.
musical, but the Sinatra. But I'm
Come From
actually,
Away.
I think this sounds fascinating because it's not a jukebox show, it's not a revival, it's not an exploitation by all reports. It's got excellent reviews, and I like the premise, which is
what?
A plane during 9/11 has to land in Europe in a small town.
In Canada, right?
Hundreds of, dozens of
Yeah.
planes.
Right, and it floods
Dozens
the
of
town
planes.
with these strangers who are
Yeah.
desperate and distraught, and the town is extremely welcoming to them. I think that's a good premise for a musical.
Hundreds and hundreds of people. I saw that at, I believe it was the O Globe or La Jolla. It was in
You
San
saw-
Diego.
oh,
I
you
saw
see-
it.
is it good?
It's very good. The music is terrific. There's some wonderful performances. I think that the challenge that it has opening in this climate, is it Fun Home or is it Bright Star? And it kind of falls
Oh, it
Well,
hopes
it
it's
better
fun.
not be Bright Star.
in terms of commercial appeal, because it is a small, intimate musical.
If it's Bright Star, one of the townspeople sees the luggage and goes, "That's the one I threw my baby away in.
That's obscure.
Are you my son?"
I don't get that.
Not to give away the ending of Bright Star.
Patrick, is it not also the case? Is it Isn't it a cappella?
No, you're
No.
thinking of In Transit.
Oh,
I
I'm
think.
getting.
all right, well-
the trains and the buses.
Well, if
and
there's
the
a
planes.
musician strike, it's a cappella.
So what's in
It's got a
Transit?
What is In Transit?
It's got a strong score, and it's well directed by Chris Ashley.
In Transit?
No, we're still talking about
Come
This
from
is
away.
the
From
problem.
away.
Here's the larger issue for a lot of these shows. No one has ever heard of them. We are supposed to know what they are. We're confusing the titles. And to Patrick's point, you really have to be, the event is going to be Groundhog Day, I think. I mean, that's already coming, and we're already writing about that, and people are saying it's going to upend the Tony Award race. It's coming with great reviews. It's a great title. Everybody else is looking at me like an also-ran.
But that something has to fill the time until March when that finally shows up, and there's room for a show well marketed.
A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder came in fall under the same kind of circumstances and eked out a run until it could then win the Tony,
Right.
become branded, and recoup its investment. I
But
think,
two musicals
to your
about
point.
transportation, I think, are too many. But In Transit, I don't know. I avoid the subway at all costs, and now I'm going to have to watch a show about people on the subway
Is that what
without
it's about?
musicians.
It's about people on the
I
subway?
believe so, yeah. And they sing a cappella on the subway to pass the time, I guess, while you're stuck waiting to get to Brooklyn.
Oh, my God.
Now, what about The Encounter? That's coming in with a lot of buzz from Simon McBurney.
That's an
Simon,
interactive
yeah.
one-man show
Yes.
based on the real story of a photographer lost in the Amazon.
Yes.
And get this, Susan, to add ambiance to the show, they give the audience members headphones where you have Amazon sounds and kooky things going on.
I think it has the potential to be
Looking
a sleeper.
forward?
Sounds like The Tingler, remember?
William Castle.
You went to see The Tingler?
Now, what about a show that you were in, Michael Musto?
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Very funny. Two comedians. They play these old men, old yentas, and basically a quote celebrity guest star comes on stage, different one for every night, and they serve you a plate of tuna, and it leads you banter until it leads to them saying too much tuna. That's the key phrase.
I don't get
It's
that.
like the duck comes down or something. I don't
Well,
know.
you
You
will
played
when
the
you're-
celebrity guest star.
Or the tuna.
I was the celebrity
you
guest
were
star. Sutton Foster wasn't available.
Okay.
Neither was Phyllis Diller.
Oh,
I don't get it. Is it funny, though?
It's very funny, and they have a huge following. I wasn't that plugged into their following, but I walked in, people were hanging on their every word.
And they
You
play
know-
two old guys, two old New Yorkers, crotchety guys.
Two 60-year-olds. Anyway, so, and also Lisa Lampanelli has written a show that's going to be off Broadway.
I love Lisa Lampanelli. She's the queen of mean. She's hilarious. She had a stomach reduction. She and her husband went for his and hers stomach reductions, and then she lost the husband. She lost another 200 pounds. But her show, Stuffed, sounds to me like a love, loss, and what I wore about eating issues.
That's succinct. What's the potential of Oh Hello to be a sleeper with Nick Kroll and John Mulaney?
Thank you.
Well, isn't it a limited engagement?
Is it?
Yes.
I think it'll do very well in its run. They have a huge following from Comedy Central and all their other work.
Because I think the Simon McBurney play, Encounter,
Encounter.
also has the potential to be a sleeper.
I'm a
to
big
become an event.
I'm a big Simon McBurney fan. Are you?
Huge.
Yes, and Complicité, the theater
Yeah.
company that
They do wonderful stuff.
They do. But I think it's got limited interest in this market. I think it'll be a hit among the people who go to the theater regularly, and then that'll be that.
It's, as Michael points out, the British snob hit of the season. We always have to
Yeah,
have
but there's
one.
no royals in it. You know, there's the Queen isn't in the Amazon with the Prime Minister.
Yeah. Helen Mirren does not make an appearance. She may be over at Oh Hello
So-
eating the tuna, but she's not going to be at
It's
the
the
Encounter.
kind of prestige thing that's only good.
Right.
It's
Did you? Now there's a play with very fine actress Mary Louise Parker, Heisenberg. You saw it off Broadway?
I did.
Did you like it? Did you
I
give
thought
a
it was
review?
terrific, and I thought it was a real return to form for her.
Yeah.
She's, an actress people have a lot of different feelings about. I love her in contemporary pieces. She's tried to stretch in lots of ways, but this to me was her at her very best,
what's-
and a really strong play about.
what's the play about?
Oh, you're just going to die.
Here we go. give us the description that kills
It's
ticket
set
sales.
on a train station. We have 3 shows about transportation.
Well, it isn't set at a train. I mean, it's about an unexpected relationship between a kooky young woman and an older British shopkeeper, and there's a kind of a physics-related superstructure that I'm not going to bother you with. The title, there we go.
Is it brainy?
It's It's
It sounds
brainy
like
if you want it to be, but if you don't want to do the brainy, there's a real solid
sounds like
person-to-person
Doesn't
play
she
in it.
kiss him on a train station?
It has yes, but then it goes to other places. It
And
doesn't
it's
stay
written
in
by
the
the author of Curious Incident.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it has a lot of the
I like that.
magical and emotional feeling of that other.
It sounds a little bit like Proof to me, and she was wonderful.
It has a bit of proof.
And a bit of Copenhagen in it, right?
And a bit of Copenhagen. It's like take the very best things from all of your favorite prestige plays of the last 20 years, put them together with her, and I think you've got a pretty good chance.
Patrick, A Bronx Tale, a musical based on the Chaz Palminteri
Co-directed
one-man show
by
20 years ago.
Jerry Zaks and Robert De Niro, I think, right?
That's right.
I hear more Jerry Zaks than Robert De Niro.
Yeah, I think so. But it also has a score by Alan Menken, who's no slouch.
Yeah,
So
very
I
good.
think that's going to carry it pretty far. And I think that it has the potential, certainly, to draw an audience. And it's also got the mob connection that made Jersey Boy such a hit. Sopranos. It's got the soprano angle as well.
I'm not crazy about the idea of musicalizing every movie ever made, but I like the idea of non-kitschy, non-obvious films like A Bronx Tale or Groundhog Day. I think those are good movies that could make interesting musicals, and apparently have done so.
Now, funnily enough about Groundhog Day, despite the rave reviews, I hear from American producers who went to see it
Yes.
that it does not live up to those reviews and that there's quite a bit of work to be done on it. And if they don't do the work, it could be disappointing over
Well, it's just one song. It's about, the same day over and over again, so they only got one song.
The shows that don't start in New York but start in London often have that problem. And I don't know whether that's because of a real quality issue or just a perceived one. American critics think, well, they liked it, we're not going to like it,
Yeah.
or they better fix it to our standard.
Well, the nice thing now is that there are no
There
American
are no
critics,
American
so we're not going to have that problem.
I think they have a free walk.
You think so?
Probably, and I'm sure they will use the time to make improvements.
Well, I got to say,
I
Matthew
have-
Warchus, the director, is very good.
Yes.
He's an excellent director.
And the power behind, the muscle behind this musical.
He is, because Scott Rudin,
Right.
powerful Broadway producer, pulled out of Groundhog Day because I had heard that he and Matthew Warchus were butting heads about the costs and who really was going to be in charge.
and it is an expensive musical.
$6.5 million. They were originally
that
going
all?
to go to. I'm sorry,
Oh,
what did I
yeah,
say?
you said
16.
At 6.5, I'm
That's right. $16.5 million for Groundhog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's expensive.
That is expensive, and it'll probably be more by the time it comes. I bet it'll be 18. 18 easily by the time it comes.
Yeah.
I
that
want
is
to go back to something that you said, I know it was a joke, but that there are no more American critics. But the point is, why, when Broadway is doing better business than it has in a skillion years, in quite some time, are
Bigger than ever,
the
Broadway.
Post
Bigger.
and
Yeah.
the Daily News and other places dropping their theater coverage?
From what I have heard and tell, and even at the New York Times, they're trying to figure out ways to cover the theater without
Yes,
heavy
they're not.
reviews.
They're not covering local theater the way they did. At
They've
the
gotten
Times.
rid of all the suburban critics,
Yes.
and they want even their critics, Charles Isherwood and Ben Brantley, to figure out ways to cover the theater that's not review driven. The fact of the matter is, reviews, not just theater reviews, but movie reviews, restaurant reviews, do not traffic on the web.
That's right.
People
It's
are
all-
going to the aggregators of Rotten Tomatoes, and there is this thing out there now that I'd never heard of before called Show
score.
Score.
Yeah.
And you pay a fee to join it, to post your review, and then they aggregate everybody's.
Well, they do aggregate
And they
the
aggregate
critics
critics
separately.
too. But some people
From-
just look at the critic's score. They don't click on the review. And that's the
Right,
problem.
but you can buy into, anyone can buy into that for the non-critic side of it, and I'm sure that there's.
Now you've got to pay to be a critic.
Yeah, well, we are almost there. But you look at what does get traffic on the web, and it's not that people are not interested in theater, it's the way they're interested in it that's different.
right.
So they will click a lot on a video of Cynthia Erivo
they
singing
will.
a song from something.
from the last 5 years.
From the last 5 years, thousands and thousands and thousands of hits, but the review of the same show, a couple hundred hits.
So what has happened to the criticism? People they just are not interested in your opinion anymore? Not that they ever were.
Nobody was ever interested, in my opinion. But it's all click driven, and it's all headlines, as you know. So the metrics are all there, so it measures how much clicks get. So if you don't get clicks on reviews, then they're going to pull back on that and devote it to something else.
But anyone who cares about theater, by the time a show opens, you know everything that's right and wrong with the play, what needs to be fixed, what works, because you've read the sites and the boards and you've talked to people.
You've read Michael Riedel in the New York Post.
Thank you.
But Jesse, you're the only real critic here. I mean,
If I count, yes.
does it affect you that people?
What the hell does that mean?
No, my darling, you are
Yeah,
you are
foot out of mouth.
your cultural icon and columnist,
Okay, that's
Michael
good.
Musto.
Anyway, back to you, Jesse, the real critic.
And co-star of what's your TV show?
Exactly.
Thank you.
I feel so much better now.
Jesse Green, that people, I mean, you are a very intelligent person, very good writer. Your opinion is more schooled and erudite than you.
Wait, what's your question?
What is your question?
No, my question is, there are such things as critics who know more than other people.
Yes.
Yes, isn't that?
Is that worth
valid?
anything?
Yes,
You're saying, is that worth something?
Yes.
No.
To some people, to some small number of people, including my father and his synagogue friends.
Your meetings of the Drama Critics Circle must be really speedy. I mean, there's nobody there and no business to do.
Like a British guy's teeth. It's like
It's all green. Jesse Green.
To the point is that people actually want to know what they should see, what it's about, and how they can get tickets. And that's it. And this discussion is of no interest to almost anybody.
The Broadway audience has changed drastically in the last 20 years. It is driven 65 to 70% now by tourists. And I don't mean tourists or out-of-towners from Connecticut and New Jersey, all over the world. 70%. These people are not reading what the critics have to say. They're not reading it. And the way producers are marketing Broadway now, they know exactly when Brazilians come to New York.
Right.
And they go down to Brazil and they market the hell out of their shows because they know Brazilians come to New York in, I think, March, is the Brazilian month for some reason. That's when Brazilians come to New York. Not a Brazilian coming to see any of these shows has ever heard of the New York Times, New York Magazine, or Michael Riedel.
So
It's
are
all
Brazilians
algorithms.
going to go?
Totally.
Are Brazilians going to go to Holiday Inn, the Irving Berlin?
They'll go to the Encounter to hear what the Amazon sounds like. Bring back memories of home.
I came all the way to New York just to hear this.
To hear some gigantic moth beating.
But Holiday Inn is an interesting thing because the estate of Irving Berlin has engineered or caused to be engineered another reiteration of some of his incredible songs, this time based on the movie Holiday Inn. And like White Christmas, which was the previous one they did, that they've had quite a bit of success with turning into a holiday tradition on stage.
Well, the smart thing about Holiday Inn is White Christmas could only be done around Christmas time. Holiday Inn handles all the holidays. It can be done all year.
So it's opening in September or early October, in previews in September. It's not being pushed as a Christmas show. And whether any audiences will find that amusing or interesting, I can't say. But if so, they'll have another way to extend.
They should mix it with Groundhog Day. Have one more holiday.
But I just want to say one more thing, that beloved actress Sutton Foster is going to be in Sweet Charity.
Well,
playing a hooker again.
In a postage stamp Sweet Charity. It's off Broadway at the New Group. Does that theater hold more than 199 people? I don't think it does.
No.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Well, it will be quite interesting. Joshua Burgas, who choreographed Smash and other things, is doing the choreography.
She's terrific. She can do anything. I'm totally looking
by the way, I
forward.
gotta say, Sweet Charity has a wonderful score by Cy Coleman.
It's an incredible score, but when she does her high kicks, she's going to hit someone in the audience.
Also, keep your eyes open. Keep your eye out for The Band's Visit, an off-Broadway musical at the Atlantic Theater.
Yeah.
Music by David Yazbek. There's quite a bit of Broadway money behind that, and I hear it's good. It's about an Egyptian police band that some mix-up at the border crossing winds up in a small Israeli settlement, and it's sort of the Arabs and the Jews coming together.
I'm there for any David Yazbek score. I know that sounds like I'm telling a joke, but it's true. I mean, he isn't as big a name as some others, but boy, are his shows enjoyable.
They're terrific.
Just something that's not on the Brazilians' radar screen, Patrick, that you want to call your attention to?
I think that the Richard Nelson plays about the election plays in an election year are going to be
What are they
extremely
called?
timely done. One of them is What Did You Expect? I think
Tonight,
that's
the one that opens tonight is What Did You Expect?
Is it good?
It opens tonight, and it's
I'll
in
tell you.
real time.
I haven't seen. I'll see it tonight.
It's an absolute real time. And then the second one,
the third one.
The third one, excuse me, actually opens on election night itself and plays out.
That is going to be one
presumably
hell of
in
an
real time.
antsy audience sitting there on election night watching this play, and during the intermission,
Right.
except there isn't one, looking at 538.com.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Michael,
He
anything?
makes Horton Foote look snappy. I'm joking. Othello, which is at New York Theater Workshop. I vividly remember the production I saw years ago with James Earl Jones.
And Christopher Plummer.
Which was magnificent.
Yeah.
And this is Daniel Craig and David Oyelowo, and promises to be almost as great,
I hope
hopefully.
Daniel Craig is better this time around than he was in the Pinter play.
He's
what was
good
it?
looking.
Betrayal.
He's good
Betrayal.
looking. And his
But
lady,
is not Rachel
his
Weisz
lady Rachel Weisz.
Rush-
is in
Yes.
Plenty at the Public Theater, which has a truly great-looking fall. So if you want to talk
Yeah.
about off-Broadway,
What else is at the public theater?
There's the new Lynn Nottage play Sweat, which is
Very good play.
Yeah.
supposed to be fantastic and a definite Pulitzer nominee. And there's the Gabriels, the all three of those plays that you were just discussing, Patrick. There's Party People, which is a fascinating look at. It sounds fascinating look at the Black Panthers and
Wow.
and the Black Power movement. And then Tiny Beautiful Things, based on the Cheryl Strayed book, starring Nia Vardalos.
Wow.
That's
That is-
quite a heavy-hitting season.
Yeah.
And they're developing a new Stephen Sondheim musical too.
Which
Yeah.
we keep hearing might happen next year.
That's
Called
Yeah.
Well about people who can't leave, but I have no such problem. So.
Now, wait. Before we go, I just wanted to say that our director, Elvin Badger, is leaving us, and he's going to leave CUNY TV for greener pastures.
Goodbye, Elvin.
Goodbye, Elvin. Thank you so much.
New York
and we
One?
wish you
I hope your
wish you
next
the
show
best.
is about movies.
No critics. Good luck, Alvin. Great working with you. So long.
Oh.
And that's it for us. Patrick Pacheco from New York One on stage.
Artinfo.com. Thank you very much.
Artinfo.com. Michael Musto, a triumphant return to the Village Voice. Pretty
Which
in
I
pink.
created.
Pretty in pink.
That is retouched.
And Jesse
Thank
Green,
God.
the last
Surviving.
from New York Magazine. That's it for Michael Riedel and Susan Haskins. We'll see you next time on Theater Talk.
Our thanks to the Friends of Theater Talk for their significant contribution to this production. Theater Talk is made possible in part by the Frederick Lowe Foundation, the Corey and Bob Dinelli Charitable Fund, the Noel Coward Foundation, Carrie J. Fries, the Dorothy Strelson Foundation, and the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs.
We welcome your questions or comments for Theater Talk. Thank you.